before the South Carolina debate, Andrew Yang tweeted, "Heading on at CNN tonight after the debate, and we'll be live tweeting it throughout. Tonight will be the Bernie debate, as he is, at this point, the clear, almost prohibitive frontrunner. Super Tuesday is a week from now, and this is the last debate before then."
That struck me, and particularly on the answers on Cuba and digging himself a deeper hole, is that Bernie Sanders is just this bulldozer who just...
He's like a fortress.
A
like
fortress. Mount Bernie. Just you keep going at him, and you can ask him, and he will never change his position. Keep coming at me because those are good. Those are good. You just.
I've been there. You're on stage, and he has a force field, and everything you say to him, it's like, let me be clear. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. It's going to have some relationship.
But that was what was supposed to
ask me.
But is not really going to be what you'd asked me about, and it's going to now go into a Bernieism. And then afterwards, you're like, okay, what just happened?
No. But that was
There's no way to get him off of it. So when it's a question about Cuba, he will continue to give that answer that he gave to you. That he'll give it again tonight, and then he'll dig himself a deeper hole, and he did it in our town hall.
But it is interesting that people are focusing on what he said about Castro in the 1980s. Michael Bloomberg, a couple of weeks ago, said that the dictator of China is not a dictator.
Right, exactly.
And nobody seems to have
Bernie picked up on that.
Yeah,
but look, Jess is right that the Republicans and Donald Trump are going to make this same case against any Democratic candidate. But it's easier to make when that Democratic candidate embraces the title of socialist and doesn't refute it. And the truth of the matter is, Bernie Sanders is not a socialist. I mean, if you look it up in the dictionary, he's not calling for, society to own the means of production and all of that stuff. And why he is so reluctant to make that point, and why he is like a fortress, Andrew, but not on that question tonight. On that question tonight, he looked unmoored. And while it shouldn't necessarily be the most important question, they will make it the most important question until he makes it a less important question by straightening the whole thing out. The flip side of that is he's also a guy who deeply believes in things. He speaks aspirationally. His close tonight reflected that when he talked about what he thinks America should be and the goals we should set ourselves to that speak to the lives of everyday people. And anyone who underestimates the power of that is missing something.
That's the joke, okay? This time he just made a bunch of corny jokes. So I think that had he blown himself up... Progress. Had he blown himself up as badly this week?
Bloomberg's argument is essentially the opposite. Is like, I've got infinite bankroll to fund ads in Super Tuesday and throughout the entire primaries and against Donald Trump. Whatever the Republicans marshal as resources, I can outspend. The big missing piece to me is why Bloomberg would not just take all of these resources and put them towards a candidate that he believed in. It reminds me of like a movie director who casts himself. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't find anyone who's going to be better in this role than me. And like, I looked in the mirror and I said, so that's like a very big question in my mind. But the argument he has is going to stick with us this entire primary season as long as he stays in the race. I thought today was a much better debate for Mike. And I actually have to say the improvement from less than a week ago to today was significant. Like, he went from being, looking like he didn't belong to at least seeming like he fit in.
I think we're talking about Matt.
Mr. Sanders.
Let's talk about it.
Can I say something?
Look, first of all,
let me go.
Tom, I think she was talking about my plan, not yours.
I think we were talking about math, and it doesn't take 2 hours to do the math. Because let's talk about what it adds up to.
Well, we don't.
Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math.
Excuse me, can I respond to the
doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you were allowed a quick response, and we would like to allow the other
The moderator, guys.
Senator Sanders.
Moderator, is it my turn?
Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected so you'll lose to him.
Hey, Mr. Putin, if I'm president of the United States, trust me, you're not going to interfere in any more American elections.
I'll tell you what the Russians want. They don't have a political party. They want chaos. Imagine spending the better part of 2020 with Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump.
If we cannot pull this party together, if we go to one of those extremes, we take a terrible risk of re-electing Donald Trump.
I'm hearing my name mentioned a little bit tonight.
I don't care how much money Mayor Bloomberg has. The core of the Democratic Party will never trust him. He is the riskiest candidate standing on this stage.
All right, Senator.
I'm the one choice that makes some sense. I have the experience, I have the resources, and I have the record.
This conversation shows a huge risk for the Democratic Party. We are looking at a party that has decided that we're either going to support someone who's a democratic socialist or somebody who has a long history of being a Republican.
Congress has not been able to pass a major gun legislation in a quarter of a century. Why should anyone have faith that you're the one who can get this done now?
Because I'm the only one that ever got it done nationally. I beat the NRA twice. If I'm elected NRA, I'm coming for you, and gun manufacturers, I'm going to take you on, and I'm going to beat you.
More than 90% of Americans want mandatory background checks on every gun purchase. We can't get it through the Senate. How do we change the Senate of the United States in a material way?
Would you close the borders to Americans who have been exposed to the coronavirus?
I would better coordinate throughout my presidency to be ready for the next pandemic and to prepare for this one.
This is a global problem. We've got to work with countries all over the world to solve it.
Would you allow Chinese firms to build critical U.S. infrastructure?
No, I would not. And I spent more time with Xi Jinping than any world leader had by the time we left office. This is a guy who doesn't have a democratic with a small d bone in his body. This is a guy who is a thug who, in fact, has 1 million Uyghurs in reconstruction camps, meaning concentration camps. This is a guy who you see what's happening right now in Hong Kong. And this is a guy who I was able to convince should join the international agreement at the Paris Agreement, because guess what? They need to be involved. You can cooperate and you can also dictate exactly what they are. When in fact they said we're going to set up a no-fly zone, that you can't fly through our zone. He said, what do you expect me to do when I was over there? I said, we're going to fly right through it. We flew B-1 bombers through it. We got to make it clear. They must play by the rules.
There's a majority of the American people who I think right now just want to be able to turn on the TV, see their president, and actually feel their blood pressure go down a little bit instead of up through the roof.
Cristiano, let's talk about math. Sanders and Buttigieg both say in clear appears to the at Andrew Yang base. We may need to re-examine the debate format. The utility of tonight was not high. Van Jones at CNN is letting Andrew Yang and I sit together. And it's dirty time on CBS. You'd expect Bernie to be the center of attention for much of the night, unlike past debates. Bernie wastes no time calling out Bloomberg. This would be a theme all night. That's so true. Bloomberg is going to be aggressive tonight. Playing it cool didn't work last week. He hasn't had that much time to recalibrate. Elizabeth is going after Bernie on his ability to actually pass laws. This is important, as I wasn't sure if Elizabeth was going to target him or Bloomberg primary. She had a great debate last week. Amy? What is Amy doing? Elizabeth has Bloomberg's number. Oh, what does that mean? Tell me what you think. The moderators are having trouble controlling this debate, of course. They're just talking over each other. It's horrible. Everyone is warning about Bernie. I don't think that's going to work to drive votes. Could have had Yang trend as Andrew Yang supporters criticize a flaming garbage pit Democratic debate. You can also solve poverty by giving people money. Since Andrew Yang, who fought for UBI, is no longer on the debate stage, we must, all of us, continue to raise the issue of guaranteed annual income. This is critical for the 2020 election and important to so many voters. Hashtag damn debate. This is Martin Luther King 3. Wow, this is such an important message. Tonight will be the last time at a hashtag Democratic debate before Super Tuesday, so this debate really matters. Let me be clear. All Americans should have a guaranteed annual income if they need it, and this must remain a top issue in the 2020 election. Retweet if you agree. Wow. At Andrew Yang done started a movement. So Andrew Yang tweeted, "This debate is not nearly as scintillating as the last one thus far. Everyone is harsh tonight. Obviously rehearsed unfunny jokes are painful." Bloomberg. Joe is having a good night. He may win South Carolina on Saturday, particularly if Jim Clyburn endorses him tomorrow. Did that happen? I'm glad they are talking about the coronavirus. It's going to be with us for a long time. Wow, that's the prediction. Bloomberg is having a much better night tonight. What is your motto? Mine is to help people achieve their potential. I really miss Andrew Yang right now. Come on, everyone is missing him. I mean, when you watch those candidates just talk over each other and you can barely hear anyone, oh, that's horrible. Like Bernie and Buttigieg, what are they doing? I mean, could have had Andrew Yang, right? That's so ridiculous. I mean, okay. Let me know what you think, and please leave your comment below. Thanks.